I'm Dawn Gainor, and this is my husband, David. We have two little girls, Victoria and Charlotte. Right now they're both 6, but Charlotte is the oldest one. They're 11 months apart. And I grew up in Hudsonville, lived in Grand Rapids for a while, and
I grew up in Jenison, also lived in Grand Rapids for a while with her. And then we moved to Hudsonville, which is where we live right now. We've been there, it'll be 5 years in November, I think. And after we got married, we wanted to have kids. I've always known that I wanted to be a dad and do dad stuff and, have kids and just, live that life.
I did become pregnant, but we had a miscarriage. And I didn't even know that I was pregnant at the time, so I was a bit shocked and kind of scared because I didn't know what just happened. But we miscarried, and we were told that if we wanted to have a child biologically, we would have to go to a fertility specialist. And me, when I heard that, I was okay with it because I always, ever since I was a little kid, I always knew that I wanted to adopt my children. Playing house with my little friends, they would put pillows under their shirts and pretend like they were pregnant, and I never did that because to me it didn't feel right. When I was a kid, I always had my dolls that came from an orphanage, and I was the mom, and that just seemed how it was supposed to be. I don't know really
Basically,
how it made you feel.
The same. I mean, I didn't put pillows under my clothes either, but I didn't. My best friend that I grew up with, he was adopted, and it just always kind of seemed normal to me. And so, I mean, if that's the plan, that's the plan. And I really didn't have any issue with it, and was like, we should do that if that's the way it goes. I felt better about that than, the IVF and all those other things. And so that's what we decided to do.
Yeah, we thought God's plan was if we couldn't have children together, then we're supposed to open up our home and our hearts to babies who needed homes. We started, we worked with Bethany and had to go through a lot of home studies and trainings and seminars, and we were told the waiting list, once we would be on it, would be about 10 months. That was the average. Usually have to wait about 10 months, and then you'll be chosen to adopt a baby. We were at work and we got the phone call that there was a young lady who chose us to adopt her baby. She looked at all the profile books and decided to choose us, and it was really, really exciting. And so we met with Ashley and her mom. Ashley went into labor 5 days later and gave birth to Charlotte.
The town that she was born in is about 100 miles away from here. So we literally, I remember exactly where I was when my phone rang, and then I was talking to somebody, and then my phone rang again, and I was like, all right, that's 2 calls in a row, and I kind of sneaked it out of my pocket and saw that it was her. I was like, this is probably something important. So that was the call. We left. The adoption agency was basically like, hey, she's going into labor, like, come, you got to get here right now if you want to be here for it. So we did. And I remember walking into the hospital and like thinking to myself, all right, I'm walking into a hospital and I'm going to be walking out and I'm going to be a dad. And you don't get to go through those emotions that you usually go through when you have 9 months to prepare. And I'm like, I still had to put another coat of paint in the baby's room, and the crib wasn't put together, and like it just happened quick. So we're there. This woman that we met 5 days ago is decided that we're going to be her baby's parents, and I'm trying to put myself in her shoes and what she's feeling and all that kind of stuff. And, I still don't know. My head's just like a whirlwind. And so the baby's born, they hand her to me at some point. I wasn't in the room, but shortly after, I think I was the second person to hold her, maybe the third. And right away, you love her and instantly felt like my kid and all that kind of stuff. And so it was a small town, and we were lucky enough that the hospital wasn't that busy that day. So the the birth mother, Ashley, her mom used to work at that hospital or something. She knew all the nurses there. And so they set us up with a room next to Ashley's. We used it like a hotel room. It was a hospital room, and we basically used it like a hotel room. And so the first night, Charlotte slept in our hospital room, and we, she woke us up like they always do, and it was the first time I changed a diaper and fed her and all that kind of stuff. And then the second night was she stayed in Ashley's room, and which was fine. Like, it's not like I was worried about that or anything, even though the whole time in the back of your mind, like, we finally have the baby, and like I said, as soon as I saw her, I was like, I love her, and I hope this goes well, because sometimes it doesn't. We signed up to do what's called an open adoption, so we kind of agree to involve Ashley in Charlotte's life, which we do, but there's no like real legal requirement for us to do that. We can change our mind if we wanted to at any time. And so again, all these things are going through my mind, and I distinctly remember laying in the hospital room on the second night when Charlotte was in Ashley's room, and I just heard this weird noise, and then all of a sudden the noise is loud, and I realized that it's Ashley just bawling her eyes out, like the worst sobbing cry I've ever heard in my entire life. And it dawned on me that she's thinking about what's going to happen the next day, right? We're going to leave with the baby, and she's not. And so that was the most emotional thing right there, and I just promised right then and there that to myself and to God and to everybody else who was listening that we would follow through on our commitment to her, because of the pain that she's going through. Like, I've never, and I don't, obviously it's pain, but at the same time, I think what she had going on in her life knew it was the right thing. But I can still hear the sobbing right now, and I've just never heard anybody that destroyed about anything.
In her mind, it could have been the last time she ever saw Charlotte again. And for a mother, at the time, I didn't realize it because I wasn't a mom myself. I didn't give birth to a baby, so I really didn't understand. I couldn't relate 100% to what she was going through. But looking back, yeah, I mean, that was probably going on in her head. Like, okay, I'm choosing these people, trusting them to take care of Charlotte, and trusting that they're going to honor the agreement that we have to allow me to see her and be with her. It was once every other month, I think, was the agreement. But anyway, and so, but she also had that doubt, what if, because it's just a handshake agreement, really. And so there had to have been that doubt in her mind, like, this could be the last time I see Charlotte.
I mean, same thing. She met us 5 days before. She doesn't know, and she read a book about us, of pictures that we picked, that we told her about us, and it was just that weird moment where it's like the best thing in my life, like it's one of the best days of my life, and it's going to be one of the worst days of her life, and it's the same event.
When Charlotte was 3 months old, I think she was 3 months old.
It was about 3 months old. Yep.
That's when we found out that I was pregnant with Tori, and we were happy and scared, and I mean, it was just really incredible, because if you think back, when we were praying, because we wanted a child, we ended up with 2 girls, 2 kids, bam, bam, right in a row, and it was pretty great.
And that's one of those things where, like, again, going back and looking back on it, and you reflect, and when you're going through it, all of a sudden I have no kids, and then I have 2 really fast, so that happens quickly, and like I said, your life changes a lot, and you have a chance to sit back and reflect. And just the way that they interact with each other, like, I'm convinced that Charlotte was, God clearly intended for her to be a part of our family. I think about sometimes what it would be like if we didn't adopt her. So if we had Tori, I'm not sure we would have had another kid. She was right. She didn't really like being pregnant that much. Mm-hmm. So we might only have one. And when you look at the way, like she said, they're 11 months apart, they're best friends most of the time. When you look at the way that they interact and just how much they need each other, Tori's personality and the way that she is formed. A lot of it is because of Charlotte. And I'm, like I said, convinced that she wouldn't be the same person that she is without having Charlotte in her life, and vice versa as well. So it's just settling, I guess, to look back at it and see, like, this is the way it's supposed to be. It makes so much sense now, like, this is the way that it's supposed to be, and it just seems totally normal, and that's just the way that God intended it to be.